Hello, I am the Self-Indulgent Gamer, and today we're going to be attempting to fix my Spectrum by replacing the ULA with a modern day equivalent ULA. I will tell you in advance, it doesn't go to plan. The fact I've got the old one on the back and the Spectrum in this hand says a lot. But anyway, I've recorded it anyway, just to share the misery, and hopefully we all learn something. So yeah, watch. Hello, today we're doing something a bit different. This is my Spectrum plus 2 to be precise, the tape version for the less astute of you. Anyway, so recently I went to play some games and it's developed a fault where it creates like a ghost-like image. The sound works, it still loads and that kind of thing, and from what I can tell, so it doesn't seem to be many videos on it. It's the ULA chip has failed. What I also didn't know was that there's different variants of the ULA chip, because I think the Amstrad CPC has one as well, but from what I've read it's not the same. So I was going to try that and then thought better of it because I don't want to break it. So anyway, I bought one of these V-Retro VLA 128 chips, which I believe are made by this guy. I assume it's a guy in New Zealand. There's company here. I can't remember how much I paid. It is between 40 and 60. It might have been the higher end, maybe with the delivery. But yeah, let's crack this open and swap it out. If I remember rightly, my one is socketed. So it should be straightforward. So yeah, these are all Phillips screws. Like I said, I've already taken it out once. Because people said about the chip is warm in any event, so even if it's failed it's warm, and even when it's working it's warm. Because there's no kind of, from what I can tell anyway, a tried and tested method of knowing it's failed or not. Got a bit of a cold, so a bit bunged up. I managed to avoid it, and now that I'm off I've got it, which is really bloody annoying. Anyway, ooh, sorry about that. Take the screws out. I think they're all the same length. Well, I do like how rustic that serial number is. No expense spared there by Mr. Sugar there. Just to think, if you actually spent money on high quality products, you might still have a functioning business. Right. So yeah, I've had this Spectrum a few years now. I reckon 8 years. I paid the princely sum of £20 for it. So these are all going to fall out, aren't they? So yeah, I forget which way around this prefers, although the screws are being a bit stubborn. So yeah, so you have to be careful when you lift it up, because there are 2 ribbons which you kind of pull out for the keyboard. Which are these? They're basically just stiff bits of card. then 2 cables here, which I'll leave attached because I don't need to take them off. Yeah, so I don't know if something's been happening to this in the past, because it's actually socketed and it's got this very rusted looking heat sink on it. I haven't actually really looked at it properly, but it's got these it's almost like a chip puller, and I've just left it in there. But anyway, I'm going to get a big fat screwdriver out. Where have I put it? I'm going to just gently prise underneath, he says. Actually, I do wonder if this comes off. It is loose. That's weird. I'm going to see if I can twist that off. Pliers. That's the pliers. And I've left them somewhere. Because it might be a good idea to put on the new one, or the new one probably doesn't need it. Let's have a look at the chip while we're here. I currently wouldn't recommend it wearing a fluffy jumper. Slide it out. Yeah, so that's it there. Quite neat. So there's presumably the brains of it there, and the rest is obviously clearly just to go in the socket. So yeah, I heard people saying something about the pins that they use round ends instead of flat. I'll have a look at that in a second. Once I've stopped dilly-dallying. Right, I'll move this around a bit. I might jump up this, just make it a bit easier. Oh yeah, another thing. So there's like 2 cables here, and on one of them they've got the tab on the opposite side. So you kind of have to stick a screwdriver in there, because you can't get your finger in there. There we go, let's move you out of the way. Yeah, so it's a very clean board. Yes, if I show you this. Yeah, I don't know if they normally have this. It's got these little tabs that you can just twist off and slide it off. But I reckon I can use that as a means of getting it out. That is so stiff. I do not want to break it. So I would just lever it out, but I don't want to break the plastic. Let's go from this way. There we go. So I've loosened at that end a bit, as you can see. I'll do the same this end. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Goes all the way around. I think I bent a pin on that one, I'll straighten it. just realised I don't know which way, which way round it's supposed to go. Silly fool. So that was so now I would assume it goes the way that way up. So, oh yeah, let's do a close up of that by the way, because I think he has the name of the guy who's done the chip. Also, I am going to use some contact spray. In there just to make sure it's clean. I did have some cotton buds. I was almost prepared, and they are not there. There's a big box of them as well. I am so blind. Blind. Oh, blind. Here we are. Look. Just check out the excess. Let's pause you a second. Right, so I double checked, and the guide, actually for the 128 plus grey version, the chip actually goes the opposite way up, so the writing is down from you, which is interesting. So yeah, so make sure that they're all lined up as well. Don't want to damage anything. Gently just push. He says doesn't want to go in. It does not want to go in. One second. So at this point I tried numerous times to get the chip in, and there was just too much resistance to the, it was creaking, it wasn't sounding great. So I took the motherboard out of the case, so it's flat, and I also got hot and took the jumper off. So anyway, as we'll see in a minute, we'll see what happened from there. Right, so what I'm really tempted to do, and I don't want to do this, is to take this socket out and solder it in. It's funny because I think this has got, the pins are no different. Well, something's different. It doesn't want to go in. That is really seemingly quite tight. I might have something. One moment. Right, so I remembered something. I bought these ages ago, never used them. This will be my first time. These, I believe you can just cut to size and use these as sockets instead, and I've plugged it into the ULA and it goes in a tree. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the old socket out, stick in this, and then yeah, hopefully jobs are good. Right, so I'm going to be using my super budget soldering station. I'm going to turn that to a number. I have no number. I have numbers, but I don't know what they mean. I really should know. Got my braiding stuff, flux, and that's probably all I need. So this is where the chip is, or the socket is. I'm going to flux with this. I'm not a professional. I'm not paid to do this. This is purely hobbyist. You can critique if you like. I might not listen. Generally, I'm not an idiot, but you know, I should really be anti-static. I do have a thing somewhere, but I've misplaced it. So psychologically, I'm static free. Let's go with that. Right. Let's see how we are. I don't have a desoldering thing. Well, I have a manual one, but it's kind of crud. Never desoldered a socket before. One would assume it's not too difficult. I need new glasses. I'm going to trim off this skanky end first. Trimmed. Right. Fresh flux. Braid. Yeah. Maybe it came off. Let's turn you around because I'm conscious there's a couple of resistors. Don't want to desolder them by mistake. I think that made no difference. I think that's all. Right. To be a bit more precise, I think. Just cutting the end off again. Well, actually, some look clean. just show a bit of progress. Got one of them out. It's just taking ages. So long. So long. And I haven't wrecked it yet. Let's get the orientation wrong. So yeah, once I've got that one out, I'll give it a good clean. And then continue from there. Right, so now it's all out. Second piece. Yeah, the holes all look good, so I'll give that a clean and then get ready to put the new socket in. Cool. Now I've got these. So we'll cut this. Don't actually know how these work. Ding! And yep, lovely. So yeah, one goes in like that, and then let's do the other side. Yeah, so that's what I've done. Looks alright. So yeah, let's put it back together and test it, shall we? Right, so I've got the case back together. I haven't screwed it in yet. And right, let's go and plug it in the TV. Right, moment of truth. Excuse the mess. Ugh, where's this one going? What does that mean? What does that mean? Hello, we're in the future, although I'm wearing the same jumper. This is like nearly 2 weeks later. Anyway, I didn't video the next scene, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was a miserable time. So I removed the replacement socket that I put in there, but there were some pins that I couldn't get out. And there was another video I watched where this guy dremelled it off, and I was like, okay. I got a bit desperate, so I used the pin cutters that you can use. I haven't got them there. So I cut the pins off, and I thought, okay, I just solder them out. But because they were literally a couple of mil thick, basically the thickness of the motherboard, I had to use a lot of heat to get them out, and in the process I've damaged 2 pads, one of which came out and pulled, I think it was a ground plane, pulled up the mask from the motherboard. So then I cried for a bit, and then I was like, fudge. So then I got I got 2 Spectrums, plus 2, and just the normal 48K plus over there. Anyway, plug this little guy in, and it exhibited the same issue, and I was like, surely not. So I got a new one from, I did have the thing. Anyway, I got a new cable from eBay, nice company on eBay, and yeah, it worked. Much to my annoyance, it worked fine. The new cable worked fine, and I suspect that would have been the case with my 128. So I guess the lesson learnt there is go with the basic option first. Although in my defence, I've never ever had a RF cable fail on me before, so I was somewhat surprised by that. So as proof, the old channel 35. If I turned on. There you go. And that's the most Spectrum Plus. But if I plugged in that one, I got the original issue, which is right pain in the bum. Because what I wanted to do, I wanted to play this brand new Spectrum game, and it's really good. So on a more positive note, I'm going to do another video on that working, and then in the future what I am going to attempt to do, which I've never done before, is try and, because I've got the wires for it, is try and do some repairs. Basically I'm going to buy a new socket and then wire up traces, little tiny wires from the trace to the pins of the socket, because I think I've only broke 2. I say only, I shouldn't break any, but I got tired, annoyed, and yeah, it's something you shouldn't do when you're trying to fix something that's delicate and old and something you actually quite like. So yeah, so on that note, I'm going to end it here, and then give it a month. Once I've got the courage to do it, I will attempt to fix it, and then hopefully have a happy ending. Yeah, 2 connotations there. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't going to upload this video, but I felt that I put a lot into it for nothing. So I might as well upload it and just, you know, I might stop someone else from doing the same thing. Yeah, so anyway, on that note, till next time.